Alright. I would like to go over the whole scrim, but that would take a stupid amount of time. So this will probably be like split up into a couple parts. So I'll probably do the last one tomorrow. Possible. We'll see.
Right middle.
Oh wow.
So yeah, we haven't seen May in ages, so we forget that yeah, she has a May wall ability. So yeah, we just
Oh, big boop.
speed through it.
Mars low.
Reaper left.
Mars
Got
one.
her.
Good job breaking the
Huge.
pillar low.
Zarya.
Zarya low.
Reaper's still.
That's big. So like this is what you're doing is fine, Nox, just to see that, you know, if you can notice where the team is, you are vastly overextended, but again, like overextension is fine, just given where they're playing, and where they're playing is okay, and like it make, because you're fairly safe to overextend because they just can't really possibly punish you too hard, like the Reaper tries, but you're like you outduel a Reaper, so like, and they can't, like it's just 1v1, so like a 1v1 always means that you're not overextended, like that's just a duel, you either win or you lose. So like it's fine, just make sure that you realize like how safe you are based on where the enemy team is.
Runs left side.
They're right.
Reaper no
Lucio's
range.
May wall again. This time we don't survive, but we're still even.
Lucio low.
So like we should be thinking, you know, it's still winnable, but realize like we lost our Rhine, they have their Rhine. So we should be trying our best to somehow minimize damage as much as we can, because they can pump damage into us. We don't have a but we can't really do damage to them, at least not through their Reinhardt. So like this is like if we're gonna off angle, this is the time to off angle. That way we can get their Reinhardt to turn their shield, so we can actually get damage in. That's just how we should be looking to play. If we're not gonna play that, we should just back out. So like this is fine to stay in this fight and try and win it. Just know that the win condition is different now, right? So they have a shield, we don't, so we can't take damage, and so we have to figure out how to do damage behind their shield.
No, we still got this. We still got this. We still
I'm
got
low resource.
So like just play slow, let Nox do things, and if
That's
the Rhine
enough.
turns her shield to Nox, then then you guys can push a bit. So
the soft reset. Soft reset. Soft reset.
good pick, soft
You're
reset
up one.
is
You're up one. You're
totally
up one.
correct. Totally correct.
Wait for the run.
I'm
Wait for
back.
the run.
I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm
Also
back.
good call, wait for Ryan, so we're back. So yeah, like if Nox doesn't die there, this is perfect, right? We killed two, one of theirs is coming back just like our Ryan is, but we had another kill. So like even with our Ryan back, we're always up one. So that kill on the Nox was costly. So a bit too greedy there, Nox. You had done a lot of work. But you got greedy and kept staying there. So yeah, like the soft reset call means don't die, don't take damage. Like we can sit here and poke and take a little bit of damage and whatnot, but like it's really important not to die, because dying turns a soft reset into a hard reset. And here it turned a up one fight into an even fight. So this actually gives the enemy a chance to
Alright,
bring us
Ryan's
back,
Main, main, main.
even though you got two great picks.
Your wall. Oh, nice wall. No wall. Breaking left.
So like
Just
every
go.
time a waste wall like that, this is we either go in or do something else. So we are still 5v5, so we can just go in and smash into them now if we desire. We are down our Kree, so like that would be not too beneficial for us because we don't have any frontline damage. So like smashing into them wouldn't be what we want to do. So this is still like without our Kree, this is just play for Sombra hacks and farming Sombra EMP. You are totally okay when you have a Sombra comp to just sit and let Sombra farm EMP. We're okay with that.
Wait here. Wait here. Wait here. All right, we're
Huge
up.
pick. Now that changes things, right? Now they're down their DPS. So technically, we now have more DPS than they do. Even though we have Sombra, they have Mei. Sombra does more DPS than Mei. So now we can smash into them, and we should win in one war. So that fire strike was huge.
One here.
So like that's how things can change if you realize what each comp wants to do and what they're strong at, and then what happens when they're down that member of their team. So now this is we totally go in and see if we can do things.
I need to move
Wall
together. We're
back.
gonna move on point.
She's looking for a wall again.
Zarya.
So Zarya hack, that's a good call. That should be an immediate speed in. We gotta correct even quicker.
Pressing.
So yeah, Valerian did, but none of the rest of us did, and it was a bit of a hesitation in the call there. Just everyone should know like that's a go, right? C found a hack on the Zarya, that means no bubble. She's a good target to kill. We go. In a scenario like this, like they're down their Reaper. If they had their Reaper, we don't do it. But here they don't have their Reaper. You go in on that call.
Middle.
Ryan and I are down below.
Ryan's fall, the Call of Duty gulag down there. So that's what's going on. Except Taco goes and cheats and goes to 2v1. I'm okay with that. Hell yeah. We don't take any fair fights, and we have a Zarya. We have a Sombra. We good.
Reaper
I like
one.
it. Nox is causing trouble on the side. I love it.
Zarya.
Sorry.
Our Ryan comes out victorious in the gulag.
Me.
So, yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. That was a really good fight.
Ryan's
Huge. We got our EMP right on time.
Ryan.
Ults first,
Beautiful.
please.
Ryan,
They
swing
do
at
a
him,
good
swing.
job stalling here.
Reaper's back.
Lucio's behind him.
Lucio's dead.
Yeah,
Reaper,
they get a lot of
Reaper,
extra
Reaper,
percentage. That was
Alright.
good for them.
Wait for EMP this
They
fight.
have beat Reaper, Freeze, Cole.
Yeah.
They probably
So they get us hard, but that took way too long. So yeah, just it's their 62%. They didn't use any ults. You can imagine that they have every ult except for the people that probably died like early, right? That fight was a long fight, so you can imagine that. Just you can think that they all have ults except for the people that died. So
no
and
expect
Reaper
everything.
died, so
EMP shatter,
he's he needs to be close, right? So not someone like I think who else? I can't remember who else. I think the Lucio Nox killed. So it is shocking that Lucio has beat so quickly, but he was probably on Hillsong literally the whole time, which also makes sense because they didn't have the speed anywhere. So he probably did get a lot of ult charge that he normally wouldn't get if we were like on escort map, because he would have just beating around.
I'm ready when you are.
So the Lucio is a surprising one, but Reaper is obvious.
Here.
They're pushing me. They're pushing me.
Alright, 3,
I need
2,
heals.
1.
Love the aggression.
Reaper.
Come in my aura. I have to be over here.
Love the aggression.
Reaper dead.
Lucio.
Lucio out. Lucio out.
Yeah.
Next fight.
Easy clap.
All right, they've got beat. They didn't use anything there, so they definitely have all 6.
Yeah, they
now.
have
We
everything.
Need to go early.
Yeah,
We're gonna
missed
go
the call, but
early
that's
in
fine.
Graph here. Graph Coalescence
Yeah.
early here, and we've got High Noon next.
Okay. So that's cool. Like we talked about what we were gonna do, but they have a couple more ults that we should care about. Right. So they have grab and they have freeze, right? It's cool. We act first, sure, but what happens if they pop what, right? So simple. So it's kind of a simple thing for Mei ult. If they Mei ult, you speed out. That's a easy thing. If we don't somehow if we're unable to speed out, then we can drop the beat to save ourselves in Mei ult. Is a simple thing there. And then Grav. So obviously, with Grav and Mei, right? There's those are two ults that we very well could use beat for. So it's obviously not realistic for Lucio to have to beat both of them. So we have to figure out like ways to mitigate the other ult. And kind of a cool thing about ground comp versus ground comp is that they're both very susceptible to grabs. So you could actually plan to counter grab their grab if we have to use beat for something else. So that's a very viable strat. So if they grab, it just grab them back, and they can't press onto you, right? They're a Mei Reaper comp. They only do damage if they're close. So if you grab them at a reasonable distance, you both just sit there looking at each other funny, spamming emotes until grabs wear off. So counter grabbing is a very optimal strat, if it comes to that. So that's how you can deal with them having two ults that you would normally use Lucio beat for.
Okay.
See if we can scout where they're coming from.
Left.
Let's
Left.
get this grab.
Nice
Get
job
the grab.
scouting.
Go. I'm gonna get frozen here.
Lucio,
Huge.
So I mean, like, so again, another instance where
Left,
this is
left,
an
left,
instance.
left.
This is why we want
Let's
to
get this
grab
grab, get this
early.
grab.
Grabbing early doesn't allow them to do what
Got
they
it.
want with their Mei ult.
Go, 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 go.
It forces a beat out, which Phantom almost. I didn't never. Phantom almost hacks him out of it, dude. That would have been so sick. Yeah, clutch play there. Would have been such a clutch play. So yeah, like they can't speed onto anyone in the Mei ult. They can't aggress on anyone in the Mei ult. So like the grav is huge here. Good job,
I'm gonna-
Taco, not dropping beat because we don't
Get
quite need
frozen
it just yet, and we have
Lucio.
coalescence going on. Huge bubble to stop Laverne from getting frozen. So like, you know, you guys just straight up mitigated that ult just by good positioning. Partially bad, like because of the grav, the Mei ult was poorly thrown because it locks her in place and she can only throw it in a certain amount of spots. And then
Huge.
you guys
dead?
ended
Wait,
up.
still
Playing
one.
point, playing point.
Reaper, Reaper behind.
Reaper.
Mora was able.
Me.
Mora was able
Me.
to.
Reaper no ready.
See.
To get frozen.
So like Moira was able to LOS, and she was able to get herself out of the LOS because of the where the Mei ult's placed. This thing that she's shooting at right now, LOS her from it. Everyone else is able to back in. Like Kree and Zarya was able to back out to the left. Lucio backed out to the right. Now, a way we can do this better, Taco, is telling everyone where to run. Cause easy. So like, see you on speed, and it looks like you're amped as well. So that's the proper response. So now how we can do it cleaner is telling we need to pick a direction where to go, and so we can speed everyone that direction. You could be inside this corridor, which is fine, or back to point. Either one's fine. Just make sure you pick a direction and everyone follow it, so that way everyone gets used to use your aura to get out of the Mei ult. But we still heads up play by color, the bubble Laverne and get out. Nice, like the coalescence is fine. Like coalescence works. So like the plan was to grab coal. So like the coalescence works simply because they weren't able to actually pounce on the Mei ults like they wanted. So that's why, like, because in general, if they were able to do what they wanted in the Mei ult, the coalescence is not going to stop Reaper from shooting or your Ryan in the face. It's just, you know, he's just too much DPS, so he's going to die anyway. So that's why you would rather beat instead. But coal is fine because they can't apply any DPS because of the graph. So just in that, not saying like that sequence is not wrong at all. It was it was really good play by everyone to just survive this Mei ult. And it ended up being really good because we got to save beats. So like that's really good. Now we can aggressively beat if we don't end up dropping in this fight, which I think
here.
we killed our Ryan, so we probably should.
Huge.
Am I dead? Okay, this is still
Playing
one.
point, playing point.
Reaper,
Yeah, so we
Reaper.
got to save beat, which is massive. So now we should be looking to either beat their grab or aggressively beat next fight and just win. Because now we're a little bit short on ults. So I bet aggressively beating could help us win the fight.
Behind.
Reaper.
Sorry, one.
Me.
So we should be looking to so yeah, like as for beat, that's what we're looking for. Either aggressively do it or just save it for grab. And saving it for grab is fine. That's absolutely fine.
Reaper no ready.
Sorry.
Sorry.
No personal. Sorry, no personal.
Alright, amping.
Okay,
I'm
back.
amping.
Nice stagger kills. I love it.
Back.
Guys are on
Next
all
fight.
cylinders.
Okay, they use.
They use Mail and beat.
They used beat. Did they use? They didn't grab.
They use beat.
Yeah,
They
they
use
use
freeze. Did they?
Freeze.
Was
What are we
that
doing?
our grab?
What are we doing? Yes.
No, that was our grab.
Left side, left side.
We're looking for High Noon. High Noon. We got to make High Noon happen here.
Yep.
Next is gonna be
Reaper's
Shatter.
Reaper Cole Shatter.
Alright, so we were cold shatter. We finally figure it out later. So how do we deal with those? Reaper, you kind of can't. Like we have Kree, so if we have to make a decision on do we want to keep our Kree off angling or do we want to have our Kree come with us because of the Reaper. So one way you could play it is you could have your Lucio play with the Kree now, and then if we know Reaper's coming in, the Lucio can speed the Kree over. Is one way we could play it, or we could just keep playing aggressive and like we know they have Grav, Reaper, Cole, Rhine, and Shatter. It's okay to just play at the choke and play aggressively and force them to use ults and purposely lose, not purposely lose the fight, but like just save your ults until next time because you guys have won 3 fights in a row. So like just the way Overwatch works, if you're handedly winning 3 fights in a row, you're going to lose the next one because the enemy has built up so many ults. So it's okay to have them blow ults to win this fight, and then you guys now have ult advantage. So it's like you use this fight as an econ fight and build your EMP for the last fight, and then just win the last fight with EMP Shatter, right? So like it's okay to not even plan on using ults unless some miracle happens. Just play the neutral really well and try and force them to use their ults. Is also a play we could do. It's like since there's no synergetic ult like with High Noon, you could just plan on just using High Noon this fight with the idea of we're just wanting to use High Noon to make them bust their ults, right? Because High Noon could still end up swinging the fight forward, so they have to answer with an ult, and or they just lose this fight anyway because High Noon is going to blast through all of them. So like they have to do something, right? So it's okay to like use an ult like High Noon for that kind of purpose. So there's a lot of ways you could play that there.
Oh shit! I was too late on that.
Huge, run.
Yep.
Next is gonna be
Reaper's half,
Shatter.
Reaper Cole Shatter.
Like you can see, like they're coming in, they have a plan. They come in with the tempo. They're speeding in. So like they have a plethora of ults. We very well could just say, you know what, we just let them win this fight. Like ideally, like because I would in this case, well no, they pop 2. Okay, so like we could say, okay, they pop 2 ults. That's 2 ults that we just let them pop, and then we just play for percentage at that point. We let Ryan die, and then we just play to get this thing above 90%, right? So that makes the last fight, that makes the next fight that we win ours. It makes it our map, right? It's something we could do. If they had just popped like Grav, then it's okay to answer with 1 ult in return, because you're thinking if we pop an ult, we cancel out their Grav, that means they have to throw another ult, and then we give up the fight. Because guess what? If you cancel out another ult, you're staying alive even longer, and that percentage is ticking up, kind of deal, right? So at that point, you don't die until 99%, and so the next fight is again just straight up. If we win, we win. They don't even get a recontest, kind of deal. So there's a lot of ways we could play that. Not saying like either any one is better than the other. It's all play style choice, for sure. But Nox comes in
Shit, I was
clutch
too
with
late on that.
Huge,
definitely winnable. Yeah, so yeah, we can go all out on here. Definitely winnable now. DRF1. How you be, dude?
Oh, I'm fucking tired, dude.
Oh man.
9.5 hour shift today.
Yeah, you're a good one, man. You a real one, Raph. How was it though?
It was fine.
Yeah.
Only got yelled at by 4 customers today.
What was wrong? Didn't have their meds or misplaced their meds, or were they just idiots?
I mean, it's still retail. Like, it's all the same retail shit that you deal with. You know, people think that they're right, and they're not.
Oh, so ranked. Got it.
Well, yeah.
Well, I'm glad your day was at least decent.
Glad to come back and listen to some review.
Reaper's half, Reaper.
We'll see.
Reaper
We'll
Cole
see if
Shatter.
you're glad after like an hour. Like, dude,
Oh,
I'm
no.
in bed.
I was too late on that.
Huge, run.
Reaper's half,
Ryan then Reaper. I got EMP. We play for that next.
Yep, EMP
Okay.
is next. EMP Shatter.
EMP shatter.
EMP
Tracer
without me
now
if
instead
needed.
of May.
We're coming at touch.
Lucio.
Lucio's on.
Tracer
Oh,
on, Tracer on.
Just clean
One
up.
more.
Rhino 9.
I can't help you, Taco. No, I can.
Reaper,
Ryan
Reaper,
Ryan
Rhino 9. Ryan down.
The
Nice
balls
job,
to
nice
show
nice
ever
nice
the
ref.
Gravadiva
Diva.
interface. The disrespect.
Yeah, that's okay.
We want to.
Monkey's dead.
Rotate up.
Monkey
We
on
need to
top.
take the high guidance.
Third dive.
Rotate in.
So dive pharmacy, Sombracy, right? Sombracy, yeah. And to our Reaper Sombra. So one cool thing about this map that I don't know if you guys noticed, but I think it just shows the measure of y'all's growth, and I was like super excited. I can't believe no one pointed it out though. You guys took this round with the Pharah in the sky by ignoring the Pharah, which was like may not sound cool in face value just saying it, but if you guys remember how much you guys used to struggle against taking random spam damage and dying to a Pharah by ignoring her and we would have to answer. You guys took this round without dealing with the Pharah, like having to go Kree or Ashe to deal with the Pharah. And I thought that was pretty freaking cool. Yeah, I don't know. I was grinning from ear to ear. Like they're dealing with this thing and they're not having to cheat and go Kree. You know, not that's not a cheat, but like it's just ballsy, right? And it's awesome that you guys took it. So this shows, I think, just y'all's growth over time. And yeah, you guys just ran into their face, and that's what it does. Pharah either has to kill all of you, or yeah, you murder their team before she can get value. So obviously you don't completely ignore her, right? Like especially new Pharah, Sombra wrecks new Pharah. So it's like Sombra is a very viable target against new Pharah, a very viable counter. So just hacking her and we've got if she's hacked, then you know you guys just run onto her. But Mora can deter her here, and Mora is actually really good against new Pharah as well because she just can't fly anymore. Zarya's decent after like halfway through her flight path.
Yeah, I suck at Pharah.
Dude, we all suck Pharahs.
Rotate onto him. Ana.
Monkey.
I'm hacked there.
Monkey up.
We need to take the high ground.
Monkey.
So the call to go inside was totally totally correct.
Monkey.
Not only do they have Pharah, but they have dive, and dive hates ceilings, and you attack them when they have a ceiling. Yep, you absolutely just go inside. So now the idea to go on high ground is also fine. Just recognize that they have Pharah, which we do say watch out for boops. We don't really have a comp that can like watch out for boops though. Like even though we're watching out for it, right? There's nothing we can do if she throws it out. It just has to be a well-timed shield pretty much at this point, and that can be hard. But if you have a diva, then it's something you can do. So like even here, you would want to speed up these stairs just to limit Pharah, like just to lessen the amount of time Pharah has to get that nice conk off. So like pretend like this little section that the Diva and Ana are on up there right now, that you gotta pretend that's like a Maywall section. You gotta speed past it because that's what she's looking at to boop you. So like yes, we want to speed through that part.
We need to take high ground.
Monkey up.
We need to take the high ground.
So yeah, so this is just
We need to take the high ground.
this is okay from you, Phantom, for sure. Like you are your lone wolf, and you're creating like distraction. Hacking the monkey means he can't just walk to the back of our team and tase. He has to respect that and back out. But you're calling, so like it's okay to call that he's hacked, but realize like your intention is to kill him, right? But realize what your team is doing. The call was to go up top. They are not about to really turn back. They could turn back and speed on the monkey. That would also be a fine call. A hacked monkey is a dead monkey, and we have speed boost, so like those are the kind of calls we can do. But also just if you see that your team's going up, just know that you have to switch from I'm trying to kill to I'm just trying to farm, which means have your index finger on that E button so you can get that translocator real quick, because you know while your team's rotating, guess who's the only person that they can attack, right? You. So you will get bursted down, which is what happens here. So just have that expectation of just listen to what your team is doing.
Monkey.
We need to take high ground.
We're even.
Rotate up.
There's
Far
Pharah on high ground as well.
Watch the boops. Ana.
So she tried it there. If we had sped boost past that, right, it would have not even been a threat. But luckily she didn't get it.
No. On a dead.
Monkey high. Monkey.
This is just raw. This is just brawl.
Monkey.
Monkey.
And we
No
would
resource
brawl.
here. No
I
resource.
got booped down.
Diva,
Always
Diva.
win
Nice.
brawl.
Monkey dead.
Monkey dead. Monkey dead. I'm killing baby.
Monkey, baby. Stomper. Far left.
Nice. Huge.
Far left.
We need help. We need help choke
Phantom.
here. We need help choke
Yeah,
here.
Phantom. We need to find out where they're coming.
Absolutely.
Are
Yeah.
they gonna be close to? Did Farah get a lot of old charge there?
She'll be close.
Remain right now.
All right, so we've got a Shatter and Coalescence here, and then Reaper ult is next. Guys,
Yeah, they're just sitting
we're still
main.
relatively slow.
Monkey's main.
Rotate main. Rotate main.
Yeah. So ideally, if we like, it's a dive comp, right? We would like to hold them at choke. So hold them at that choke. There's nothing they can do. We're worried about Farah, fair. But think about if we're holding them at choke. If we're holding them at choke and Farah is going around coast, you guys just speed into them and Farah's out of the fight, and you guys just wreck them. The only danger is if Farah goes with them through choke. That's when we want to back up. So we want to start at choke and then adjust from there. We have a Lucio. Lucio means you can adjust on the fly. So it's okay to hold an aggressive position and then change it based on what you're seeing. So that's why scouting is super important here. So we let them on a point, which is not what we want to do because that gives them free access to high ground. So like they don't even have to take this fight. They can just jump to high ground and there's nothing you can do about it, which is what they should do and not tase our Reinhardt.
Wait. So I said to hold it choke. Why didn't we?
Good question.
Okay. I didn't know if there was like if something happened between because I remember
see if we can
saying we
hear
can
it.
hold it choke. We can hold it choke.
Are they gonna be close?
Yeah, let's see if we
Farah
can
get
hear it.
A lot of
And
old charge.
maybe
there?
someone said something.
She'll be close.
Before this, I was saying.
Oh, before it? Okay.
We
Yeah,
need
I
to
said it
find out
even
where-
before we all tracked.
Far
Farah,
left.
Phantom,
Far left.
who's
Far
dead?
left.
Nice. Huge.
Far left.
We need help. We need help choke
Phantom.
here. We need help choke
Yeah,
here.
Phantom. We need.
Oh,
to find out
Laverne
where
was
they're
talking
coming.
over me. That's what happened.
Oh, okay.
I should have said it
Rotate.
twice.
It's all
I'm
good.
trying to get better about that because
It's-
sometimes it doesn't get through.
No,
Yeah, and
I
it's
think I heard it, but I don't think anyone else heard it because you heard me like acknowledge it
yeah.
like right after he said it.
Yeah, but
It
you
just-
didn't go to choke. You
Yeah,
said
but
yeah, and then went to the room.
Yeah, I think I interpreted choke as staying inside there just to stay out of Farah spam because I don't think we actually killed her.
Yeah.
And then also, what are they gonna do if we're sitting inside there? It forces
But that's what Simon was just saying. We need to hold choke so that because we have Lucio, we can reposition.
Mhm.
Right.
And then if we see Farah main, then that's one thing. But then we know if Farah is going around, and if Farah is going around, we just destroy the four of them.
Right.
Like
Mhm.
literally no contest, destroy the four of them, and speed back to point, and at a loss of maybe 3%, 4%, 5%.
Right. And also, like, if you hold choke, if they want to get the point, where does that force them to go? Into that room. And you're okay with that. Right?
Mhm.
So, yeah. So, like, holding choke as a brawl comp here is really good. But, again, I'm never going to be mad at you guys making a conscious decision based on what you're thinking and seeing to, like, hold in that, and to just do something. I'm just glad that you guys are thinking. Like, that's the goal. And the purpose of these reviews are to, fix what we see and fix our thinking. And so next time we're in that situation, we're thinking something else. But as long as we're thinking, we're always going to be ahead of the enemy team. So,
I think like what clicked in my mind was the most immediate threat would be Farah Barrage, and being inside would give us like the least number of places she could come from.
fair enough. Yeah, like that's true. Very true. Absolutely. Yeah.
But
So-
well, okay, so I'm cool with that for sure. My mind thinks though, if we're holding choke, she can only really come from one place. She either comes from in front of us or behind us. And if she comes from behind us, we'll see her team aggressing before we, because they're planning, right? They're sitting in their comms and they're saying like, okay, we're gonna barrage this fight. We're gonna go main, Farah go around, right? That's what they're saying.
Yep.
Which means they're going to ideally aggress right before or as Farah gets close, right? So
Mhm.
if we see them in choke, we just wreck them before the barrage even has a chance.
Yeah.
and force the 4 of them back to spawn. If she barrages and catches 1 or 2 of us, we still win. They don't cap point at all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a neat interaction actually that I
Mhm.
that I don't think I thought of in the moment. I was just saying hold it choke because we have Lucio.
Yeah, that was the other thing that I took into somewhat consideration was because they're dive. If we're inside, they aren't exactly going to be able to go in fully with her, right? Because they're dive, they don't want to be inside. Period. So they're going to put themselves at a disadvantage walking in as well. But if they're walking in, that groups the 4 of them up for Shatter, which is the only thing we have right now. Which Shatter is extremely difficult to get off against dive anyway. So if they're going to be grouped up, that just makes that even easier. So it's playing into our win condition and lessening
they're
theirs.
grouped up at choke too. I mean, either way, they're both
Yeah,
chokes.
but the issue with
we could have held them at the choke of the door of the room.
Mhm.
and been there to try and attack them too, and maybe that's the best of both worlds.
Yeah,
because we're pretty far back. We're holding pretty far back here.
Yeah, it was. I held back simply to invite the front line to walk in at that point, because if we're holding right at choke, they're not going to walk in anyway. We want to let them in a little bit for Shatter.
I don't think they come in at all.
No, they probably don't.
Honestly,
they probably read it, but
yeah, if we're dive and we're going against Brawl and the Brawl is holding in that part of the room, we just walk to the other side of point and go to the corner of point and make them come to us. And then take them.
But here's the issue: is we have point, so they have to make the play.
No.
Because we have point.
You misunderstand. So if we're holding their choke for point, right on point, right?
Mhm.
Okay. If the smart play for them is to just walk past us and walk over to the other corner, right? Walk to our spawn corner and start an attack and just touch point there. That forces us onto point outside of that door, outside of the place, and then they dive us.
Yep, but that's only one of us that has to touch. And they're not going to dive. They're not going to dive me. If they are, they're throwing.
I mean, they got to do something. So, I mean, that's at least a play that they can make.
Mhm.
That's a better play than trying to dive us inside the room and hope that the barrage gets something.
Well, I mean, if we're doing what Laverne's saying, they have to dive us in the room. Literally, Ryan just sits at the edge of the stairs right there, and then they have to still somehow get Ryan off those stairs by diving, which there's a Reaper and a Saria behind him, right? So, I think that's what Laverne's getting at, is that they have to, unfortunately, dive has to commit their movement cooldowns to be dive, and if you commit your movement cooldowns, you're not going to get any damage on anyone else except the Reinhardt, who's going to get Zarya bubbled, more orbs, and backed up with Reaper shotguns. So holding in that room stops, as long as the Reinhardt's touching point, it nullifies most of their dive except for their Pharah. I think that's what he's getting at, which is correct. That's not an incorrect statement at all. So I mean, not, both of you are correct. Both of your analysis is exactly what you're saying is it's fine. If they're if we hold that room, they are certainly not coming through that mini side door. They're going to come through point somehow, and then correctly enough, we own point. So it's sure, they got the point now. So what? We have to somehow dislodge this Brawl comp that we don't want to get near, in this tiny room that we don't want to be in with our very weak heroes. So that does present an issue for them, absolutely.
So at this point, we've nullified their composition, no matter what we do.
For the most, ideally, where we're holding, yeah, if we play just a neutral game well enough, they will have a hell of a hard time dislodging. Which is why, if looking at their comp, what they should try to do, and this is what like if you when you watch Overwatch League, you'll see like a lot of dive teams only get like 3 chances at attacking because they take so long to set up and do their win condition, which is that's what dive does. And this is the part that a lot of novice and like low elo dive team, high elo teams even mess this up. Forget is that it's not all about getting the immediate value. You have to wait for the win condition. So what they should do is poke for ults, not even fights. They should just they could take this high ground and just jump and pellet Ryan a bit, Sombra farms, and get Nano. Like they're so close to 6 ults. They should not take this fight. They should soft dive everything. Give up 15%, just soft dive until we have ults. And then once they have ults, this is the thing. Dive has the strongest ults. What do they have? They've got Primal, which dislodges us from inside there. Bomb, which dislodges us from inside there. EMP, which is EMP. Combo any of that with Barrage. They've got Nano. They've got Valk. Everything now, every single Q that they have makes us not want to be in that room. So if they attack quickly, they're going to die because they do not win that in the room neutral game. But if they just wait 15 seconds, we are scared. So that's what they should be doing. So that's how, if we were in their shoes, we would dislodge a Brawl comp. And then you just cycle ults forever. Because Dive is really good at just using 1 or 2 ults to win a fight.
So okay, so then so then we have 2 viable strategies depending on how many ults we think they have. Because if they've got more ults, we don't want to be in that room. We hold them at choke and just kill them before they can use ults. We ult first, we win, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, and it's like and there as I had mentioned before on Uni right before you had gotten here. There comes a point like this is just the way Overwatch is. If you're dominating fights, you're eventually going to lose one down the road because the enemy is just building up their ults. So don't look at losing fights as a bad thing. So you're trying to maximize your value until Overwatch just says no, you just lose now the next fight because we've given them 6 ults.
Eventually
Right.
they have 6 ults, right? And if they need to, they can use all 6 and win.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like eventually they're just going to get a free fight. Like 100 to 0s are really good. Like they technically should never happen because Overwatch tries its hardest to not let that happen. So like it's okay to lose fights and people need to understand that losing fights is okay. It's supposed to happen at the right times. But Dive is really good at making that win condition come pretty quick. As you can see, this is just 2 fights. Well, 1 fight because they capped first and then we still won because you guys played slow and awesome. But look at their ult economy, right? Like they're sitting pretty. They're in a great spot to take this 100 to 34 or whatever they end up capping at. So.
Hi, Cola.
Yellow Cola, what's up?
Yellow Cola.
So they're sitting in a good spot. So like yeah, they could just straight up win this fight. So yeah, we want to be attacking early as much as we can, and not letting them set up, which is scary because they have a Sombra. Like Sombra is just a scary hero. She just breaks us.
It's okay. I just sucked the Sombra to death.
Man, if Moira gets by check, dude. Oh man.
I keep meaning to ask. She can't spy check,
cannot,
right? Her suck
right.
does not. Okay.
Right, she cannot. Yeah.
I still do it, but I'll stop doing it. I mean, pressing right click, is free. So.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, back to the original. So like yeah, holding, as we can see, holding in that right room, it allows them free access, and allows also like we were able to get pincered a bit, technically, because we allowed like the condition happened. Far came around the corner and then they were able to get on point. What they messed up with is they actually wanted to take a fight when they should have just chilled for a bit. So like again, it's not the wrong call, but I believe holding choke would have been the better call because we would have seen where Pharah was at least. with the team and could have readjusted otherwise. So like, why is seeing the far is important when we have a Sombra? Hey, you can say that that statement is technically false. Like, sure, Sombra can be our eyes 100%, but now we also have that opportunity of, oh, Sombra's around, we can just beat into them from the choke, which you can technically say we can also do from the right door. So like that's also a thing. I just don't like that small area that you have to run through. So I don't know. I like being able to have that open area, because what if they do have Primal? What if they do have Bomb? What if they do have EMP? Even though the FARs are around the corner, they could still really wreck us in that right door. Being out in the open gives us space, as well it gives us the Mega, as well like it just easier spots for Lucio to hide from EMP. So just like I just don't see it too much of a negative really holding the choke in this situation. I think there are a bit more positives to holding the choke than holding inside the right room.
Hi, right to
I
high.
fell off. I got booped.
Fairy sack.
We're even
Fire,
again.
fire, 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 fire,
We're down one.
Where?
Even.
I didn't even realize that happened. Good priority on the far though. We didn't get the
Monkey
kill,
back,
but like
monkey back.
good priority on it.
Fire, 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 fire,
Far
fire.
dead.
This is still.
For what it's worth, I would have if I knew where she was.
Yep.
Yeah,
Stall.
no, see, like that's exactly what should happen. Hack on the far is beautiful.
I could have
So that
Is
was
worth.
that
Queued
was
that.
Garage for sure. Can we? Do we want to
Hey,
EMP?
I got EMP.
Go ahead.
So we have EMP now. Alright, so how could we play this? One, if we know that they have EMP, you have to hold, the core has to hold outside of where their dive range is. So if Sombra says they're setting up on point, we have to hold our side of the choke, or else that way we're not diveable. Like it doesn't matter if we get EMP'd, we just run back to spawn and they can't dive us because they can't reach us. So like this is like super important when they have a Sombra. We gotta have the scouting information first. That way we don't get caught unawares, and we know where to hold, so we don't get EMP'd. And so with that knowledge, if we know that they're holding points, you want to path as best you can around around their kill zone, which is extremely hard here. I think you path through choke here, because because you can't get dove from the top of point by Monkey very far because of the height of the door. I don't think he can make that dive comfortably. I'm looking at the current situation because it's unfortunate we don't have beat. If we had beat, then you don't care in a sense. You try an EMP first if you can, but because they're dive, they can just EMP and get to wherever you want. We're brawl, so we have to actually meet them. So we actually have to get to them, right? And by that time, like the whole time is EMP. We're primed for being EMP'd. But we don't have beat, so we can't, we don't have a counter for their EMP, really. So
Well,
here,
one way we could do that would be to make ourselves look vulnerable, and then have them use EMP first. Then they would then dive onto us, and then Phantom would then counter EMP, which then traps them with us. And then if we are able to weather the storm, then they don't have cooldowns, we do.
Yeah, ideally, sure. So I guess taking away alts, that would be the play for sure, because we don't care if they dive into this, because they're still dive, and if we kite it decent enough, which, so like, it's still going to be super important for our Lucio to not get caught, so he can speed amp us back a bit. It's going to be the most important part of that. But now looking with ults, that scares me, because they do have bomb, they do have primal, they do have nano, right? So like, even if we counter EMP, their monkey's still going to get nanoed. The bomb's still going to get thrown. So like, we don't, like, if they throw a bomb, we can't capitalize on EMP, right? Because we can't get close, because we don't have a shield or anything to even block it. So I think here, like, given what they got, the play is to, I think we have to take the EMP first. If we are, like, we have to take the EMP first and just kite it, no matter what it is. Because I don't think we can counter EMP if we know that they have bomb. If they don't have bomb, then this becomes a different story. But because they have bomb, that forces us to not be able to engage onto our own EMP. So we waste an EMP and they counter it just by bomb, which is my worry. So I think we are forced to speed out here. So Lucio cannot get caught in the EMP. And then we go for the counter EMP afterwards. That's what I believe we have to do in this situation. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I think my biggest thing, so the biggest thing in my mind is like what's the best way to say that? Or is that something that we should just all know?
It's like, the more you play together, the more you see it, the more you'll just know it. Like, we'll probably see this again and fail, but we'll go over it. Like, it's experience.
Because like Laverne had a like this big brain kind of idea for it, and I think that like the simpler that we can make ideas, like the better, the more often it's going to work, I think. Because if we try to like microtransaction all of this, we get into trouble, because the microtransactions never happen the way that we expect them to. I think it makes sense to expect to get EMP'd first. Like that makes sense. And know, like, it's okay for us to lose this fight to take back point, assuming we get out the big ults, right? If we can get out EMP bomb, then we have a free win in the next fight. Right?
Yeah.
I think that's just a simple. I don't know how to, I don't know how to better get those ults out, except for to look like we're really aggressing. But I don't know.
What I would do, hindsight, was I would have the four of us inside, leaving Phantom and Taco to hide. Make it look like we're going to aggress and try to bait a dive before we like actually commit to the high ground. When that is popped, see who like commits in. Because like if all four of them commit in, or if they throw bomb, then it's like whatever, right? But if only, or like if they throw bomb in there or they use something else, then that's fine. That's the ults out. But if they don't commit anything else and they try to just win it off EMP, then they're gonna jump in. We just kite it because Taco was stayed out of it. He speeds us out, and then they're stuck in there, and then we just EMP them, rather than trying to find value later on with our EMP. Because we have to get to them, but they're just able to get away from us. So the better way to use our EMP as bait them into us.
Yeah, well, I mean that's what we had just finished saying, right? If
Mhm.
yeah, if we're not caring about like what else they can throw with the EMP. If they just use EMP, we just kite it and then go back in using our own EMP. But yeah, like if they keep throwing things, and then still like, what if we survive EMP bomb, right? Then we can just continue going in. So like yeah, it's all that's game sense, right? It's all going that stuff just has to happen in game and has to be known by the team to this is how we react to this situation, and that's just going to be practice and experience going through it. You can only say so much as you guys are realizing, like even before comms, before pre-fight planning, you guys are talking all this, saying all these things, and then the fight starts in 2 seconds because there's a lot to go over. But the more you play, the more a lot of that stuff just becomes, this is just what we do. So we just know how to respond to the situation. And less words will need to be said. But I do agree that's is how I think best Brawl comp versus their dive comp would handle the situation. There's no way we get through comfortably without using, like, being able to use our EMP first. We just can't. They have high ground. We have the speed on the high ground. We just never get there. So yeah.
Super big brain. We go low ground. Go all the way around. No,
because then they win the fight off primal. They don't even have to use EMP.
I wasn't being serious, Laverne.
Well, it's the same issue of going straight to high ground when they have primal, because like we're all going through that close to the edge.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to stay low ground here, either main or inside and straight to point.
And even before that, like they have 4 ults, possibly 5, that just wreck us if we're in close quarters. So like we don't even want to touch that hallway unless we just purposely want to bait them out. But like again, like you said, if you go in that hallway, they probably can just win with just Nano, honestly, because Winston's gonna get 6-man cleave, a Nano 6-man cleave, and just do too much damage, and then Pharah just picks us off. Like yeah, I think going main gives us our best chance of even surviving this their EMP.
Well, and especially with what actually happens.
What does actually happen?
They have Valve,
That's a good question.
EMP,
Uh, Phantom calls the biggest audible of his life.
No, I don't think
and
that happened
wins us
yet,
this
right?
round.
So we
Does
need
that
to-
I
happen
think
right
it's
now?
about to happen.
for the EMP, and then we need to stay.
Phantom's
out.
scouting right now. We're waiting.
We go in,
Actually,
we
we're still
go,
planning.
He's in their spawn.
EMP Death Blossom, okay?
There he is.
We need to find
Yeah.
a target and speed onto them. And
No,
get
he's
them.
over
Okay,
there.
so it's
He will
Go
not have
inside.
to.
They're
Go
high.
inside.
They're
Go
high
inside.
ground. They're high ground. They're high
Go
ground.
inside. Speed to high ground.
Yeah, I think it's
Speed,
next
speed,
fight.
speed.
I'm gonna EMP them. I'm gonna EMP them.
Go, 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 go. Anna.
Dude, that was so beautiful, man.
Somber.
It's a run.
That kill feed populate, dude.
I love seeing us just run across the high ground. And the kill feed
The
just
best thing is literally just like their Winston just like falls off, like not paying attention, and just misses that 6-man primal.
Holy crap.
Oh my god, that's so good.
That kill feed just populates, man, with the red.
Yeah, I love seeing that, dude. We just run across.
I'm gonna EMP them.
Go.
I need that like that music that played when Scooby Doo when they're running through the door.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Kill feed just explodes.
Oh my goodness, dude.
Somber.
awesome.
This was such a good map.
Monkey.
Yeah, you guys were firing on all cylinders
with
on
you.
Oasis.
Monkey went in there like I'm gonna help my team
Right.
solve kill feed and turned around.
They're high ground. They're high
Go
ground. I'm gonna
inside. Speed to high ground. Speed.
Yes.
Speed.
So
Yeah.
can we pause for a second? Just
Yeah.
for like, I think it's important to point out and to remember that like EMPing 2 against dive is like actually huge.
Mm-hmm. And it only works if we have a Lucio.
Yeah. That was
Sweet.
awesome.
I'm gonna.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
Did we
I love
I'm
his
gonna EMP them. I'm gonna
aggressiveness.
EMP them.
Go, go, go,
Wait, did
go,
we go
go.
over Yudi already? Wait, we did. That was the first
Yudi.
one.
Ana,
Yeah.
Ana. Sombra, Sombra.
What a rough day to be an Ana.
Monkey. I'm with you now.
Monkey's like,
Monkey
nope.
next, monkey.
I'm dropping point.
So I just try and right click the Florida. I'm kind of an alpha.
She's gone. She's
Monkey.
That is a very alpha move. Before it just leaves. It doesn't even stay like.
I was gonna suck her to death. So.
Doesn't even like stay and get all like. Nope, this was bad. I just saw what they did to my team. I don't want any part
so
of
we're
that.
gonna grab Reaper early. We need to do it early.
So we hold here.
They're
So
main
like,
right now. They're going around backside.
I heard the Sombra behind us.
Under or backside?
Yeah, they're still main. They're still main right now.
Main,
Sombra's
main.
backside.
I swear I heard her behind us.
Main.
I heard her
They're going around backside.
translocate.
They're going around backside.
I heard the Sombra behind us.
Under.
We're gonna grab Reaper here. Grab Reaper here early. We need to do it early.
Really? Okay.
They're main right now. They're going around backside. They're going around.
I heard that.
you heard that? Really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, I called it.
I mean, awesome.
What is your
Hell
volume?
Behind us.
Dude,
I've been fucking grinding sound cues.
before he and Nox just couldn't hear anything, now they're hearing everything. It's great. It's so
But I
big.
thought it was behind us somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have expected that to be in the window. That's yeah. If I hear it, I'm thinking like underneath us or behind us, not in that window. So that's odd.
Under or backside?
It's not like I swear Sombra translocator sound is broken because I think they try and do some audio tricks when Sombra is around walls to mask her or like her voice line and sound. So I imagine it's probably like bugged.
Yeah, they're still main. They're still main right now.
Main,
Sombra's
main,
I'm
main,
glad
backside.
that you
main,
checked
main.
though, Kola.
Press
Hold on.
main, press main.
They're
We're
main.
gonna ignore the fact that Phantom had his translocator broken and it like tells him, but I think he forgets to put another one down here.
Oh, does he?
I think so.
They're diving.
Monkey top.
Yeah. So this is well, why we don't want to wait on point. This pincer is exactly what we want to avoid.
Monkey top.
I'm a hack.
EMP, EMP.
Baby
We
Diva
get out
sack.
too,
Baby Diva
so.
sack.
I was
Baby Diva
I was
sack.
in hack range.
But if we
Monkey,
remain,
monkey,
that doesn't happen.
Having
Go for you, Nox.
massive graviton surge.
You're down one right
Huge
now.
graph.
Monkey sack. Monkey sack.
Diva.
Diva.
For dead.
Baby Diva sack. Baby Diva sack.
I was
Baby Diva sack.
in hack range. I got Monkey hacked. low.
Having.
So we can expound on the rule of is it actually lost? So we're down 2, and normally we would say is lost, but there's a phrase in the pro scene that they will tell you is true, is that every fight is winnable, and that's true. Like there are possibilities where you can bring fights back from 3v6 if the conditions are met. So this is a team thing. It's like at this point it becomes an individual thing. If Nox sees that they're grouped half HP, he can call at a 2v6. He can call for Colo Bubble Me and 6-man Death Blossoms. Like that's something that can happen, and that's something that would be the right call. So like I can loosen up on the was this a wasted ult or not, because look, he got 2. We're only down 2. He got 2. Not only that, but we have Blossom and Cole. That's an easy 2 to kill with Blossom or Cole. So like, was this fight lost? Not really. Like there was a way, there was a time, there's a possibility that we could win this, right? So it's okay to try and find your ways. This is the Philly thing. This is why they win so many fights, because they can see these really well. I think they have the highest, when they're down, they bring the fight back from being down in the league. That's because they can see these kind of things. Like this was possible. He got 2. That's a bringing back even ult right there. So who knows? Like so that wasn't like a waste at all. Nox got hacked, which is unfortunate because he could. I mean, you could certainly just Death Blossom that. But we do have Cole, so I would say if he blossoms here, it's a waste because we have Cole. So I would wait to see what Cole does. And he should be DPSing this. Like Moira and Zarya have the right idea here. The Reaper should be also DPSing this graph and bringing this back to even. If you guys get these 2 kills, it's absolutely winnable. then you can commit the Death Blossom to finish this off.
I'm hack. I'm hack.
I got hacked.
EMP.
Baby Diva sack. Baby Diva sack.
I was
Baby Diva sack.
in hack range. I got
Monkey
hacked.
low. Having.
Go for it, Nox.
Yeah, so we get one.
You're down 1 right now.
So, like, if Nox was focusing that Diva, she gets demec'd. Alright, 3 shots and she's demec'd.
Monkey sack. Monkey sack.
Yeah, now they bring it back, so now, like, you could start. Now it's kind of becoming a bit late. We have to commit even more. Not only that, we're 99%. We kind of, like, we're all better off not committing more to this, just so we can have a stronger next 2 fights. Now you could consider so like, and we can go into more detail about, okay, what kind of ult do we want to use? For example, say we still had Cole up and we were in this situation. If we could pop Cole if we felt that it would get out another ult, because Cole is a cheap ult. So if we feel that we can pop a cheap ult for an expensive ult or even another cheap ult, we take those. Like, you're okay with that, especially when you only have to win 1 fight. They have to win 2. So they, on the long game, have to expend more to win this map than you do. So you're okay with making them use more now, so their last fight gets even weaker. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
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 Diva,
But
Diva,
I
Diva.
would argue that the Reaper ult was a bit much. But we did get out Barrage, so like that kind of evens it out. Like she didn't need a Barrage at all. They only lost their Diva. They just res their Ana. They're massively up in this fight now. But the Reaper ult ends up being good because it got out Barrage. But I bet we could have just gotten out Barrage with just Coalescence. I bet. If she's gonna ult at that, because Coalescence is far more dangerous so far than a freaking Reaper ult. So.
Far dead. Somebody on top. I'm hacked. Backing.
I'm almost back with Chad.
Monkey sack.
Monkey.
Baby Diva.
Press hard left. Press hard left. Ana.
So this is just us
Monkey,
lack of
monkey.
counting. So like at this point, it's definitely lost. It's a 5v3. 5v3 unless it's big. But now our people were the last to die is the big thing. Not that it's 5v3 or 3v5. So now I'm gonna stay true to my word. If it's big, it's certainly winnable. But now the factor of our people are the last to die, their people were the first to die. They're gonna have respawns back quicker than we will. So like, sure, we shatter, maybe we kill these 2 people, but those 2 people that died are going to be replaced by 2 other people coming back from their spawn already. And then so it's going to be a 3v5, then a 3v3, then right back it'll be a 3v5. So it's like now we just got no value out of those kills. We would have to make the 3v3, the 3v5 into a 3v1. So the 2 that comes back from their spawn make it a 3v3. That's winnable. But not a 3v5 that goes to a 3v3 back to a 3v5. That's not winnable. So this is just us lack of counting and just lack of looking at, like, checking the kill feed and seeing who died last and realizing that, okay, they're going to have respawns back before we do. We just don't need to commit any more into this.
Baby Diva.
Press hard left. Press hard left. Ana.
Alright, Raw?
Monkey. Sombra.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello. Oh, we
you
commit
got-
beat into. Oh,
Damn it,
yeah,
damn it.
that's horrible.
Back out.
Oof. Yeah, that's just us lack of counting there, unfortunately.
I'm already at
Like that's
EMP,
on
so we
everyone,
can
not
play for
just
EMP.
like Kako, Rav, Phantom. That's on everybody.
All right.
They're high ground right now. I'm already at
So-
EMP.
Oh, you got picked.
Could have sworn it happened
no,
sooner,
no.
but like Phantom's
No.
EMP generation rate this scrim was epic.
Monkey.
Because I wanted to wait until like later to describe what we're looking for in a Sombra Reaper comp. So we have an epic front line and Ryan's Arya Reaper. So normal things, we know what we do with those. Reaper protects the Reinhardt. You know, we can bully whoever we want. We don't care. So like epic front line. If Reaper wants to flank, we can. We pincer, do all that jazz. But then with the Sombra, so we've said before, Sombra, you know, she's farming EMP, and any hacks that she gets that are major, we can commit onto with speed boost. But the biggest thing I wanna make sure is iterated is the first one, farming that EMP. We are like so sure coming back into this fight. Like notice I didn't say that Rein coming back into this fight was feeding. It's not. Sure, he fed ult charge. We don't care. We have a Sombra. Our biggest thought, like if a fight is lost, our biggest thought should be to stall this out as much as possible if our Sombra is alive. You want your Sombra alive all the time farming EMP because that's just the game-breaking ults. You are okay risking it all and feeding some ult charge if it means you can get your Sombra EMP. Because it doesn't matter if you feed. She EMPs. They can't press Q anyway, so it just doesn't matter, right? So you're okay with your Sombra, with feeding a bit to get your Sombra EMP. So Rein coming in
Baby Diva, Baby Diva.
Press hard left. Press hard left. Ana.
allowed him to get 10 more ult charge, and if he didn't throw, he would have gotten his EMP.
Ana.
He got hacked. But, so like that
Monkey,
move is
monkey,
okay.
Sombra,
If your
Sombra.
Sombra's alive, that's okay.
Oh, you got picked there. Damn it.
Back out.
Like, you want your, like, this comp,
Yeah,
when you have a
I'm
Sombra,
already at EMP,
you're
so we can
thinking,
play for EMP.
farm EMP as much as possible. And you are okay with just sitting there in the choke, letting Sombra farm EMP. You're more than okay with that.
All right.
They're high ground right now. Farah's pushed up the choke.
Don't feed the far anymore. She's
Move
gonna have
right
another
side,
quick
we
rush.
want-
She
stay
has
inside here.
barrage. They have Valk
Go
too
on.
and Nano.
You know what?
Don't-
I'm gonna EMP. You know what? I'm gonna EMP this
Sit
Farah.
out.
I'm gonna EMP this Farah. with
The
speed onto her.
alpha.
Okay.
Absolute alpha move
Go,
here,
go,
what
go,
you
go, go,
guys.
Mercy,
Deleted.
Mercy's inside. Mercy's inside.
Monkey dead.
Mercy.
Huge
That
hack.
call was
Pressing.
so
It was the alpha move.
Diva.
big brain.
Diva up.
Take
Sombra.
Sombra.
Diva.
That just won the fight.
Diva.
That's
Farming,
pretty
farming,
demoralizing
farming.
for a team.
Mercy. Far up. Far dead. Monkey.
Did she only get one barrage this whole fight? This whole map?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, guys.
No, two.
Two?
She used.
Okay.
She used. Yeah, both of their fight wins were barrages.
Okay, we take those. Like, that's what you would expect. Like, you're okay with losing 2 fights to 1 ult. That's awesome. Against Safara when you weren't dealing with her. Like, that means you guys weren't feeding. You didn't feed her ult charge. You didn't let her dictate the fight by letting her pick you guys off, as you saw with the Scooby-Doo door-to-door chase. You guys just ended the fight. You ended that fight with EMP on the pharmacy. Like, everything was decisive and quick. That's how Brawl works, and that's how you do against Safara. You just get in there and get the job done.
Monkey.
Like, hell yeah.
Monkey 1.
Yeah, but I am trying. Let's roll.
Farah?
Alright, so they run the same thing. We tell them again, we don't care about your Farah. We're in Sombra Tracer. Zen. And, cool. Alright, so ideally, we would like to have our Zen Ana on the high ground. Unfortunately, they have Farah, and we have nothing to deal with her. So our Zen Ana will never be able to take the high ground. And that's okay. Biggest thing about this combo are the Discord orbs. So and this is more of a Zen thing. There are ways that Zenyatta can play. Sometimes he can play aggressive enough to where he can be the target caller because he can get in whatever position he wants. And that's usually against a non-Lucio Brawl comp. So just a Brawl comp, not a Rush comp. Because he can maneuver and be safe and actually peek enough to get Discord orbs. And then other times he needs to wait for his threat to be taken away. So to get the Discord orb on whomever the team wants. So there's one, the former, he's the shot caller, or can like not shot caller, but like can be the target caller because he can get Discord on whomever he feels like it. But the other one, space needs to be made for him to get a Discord onto the target that the team wants. So this is going to be the latter because of Pharah. Like he just can't sit there and peek in the middle point like he wants to because of Pharah. And because we have nothing that will directly stop the Pharah from coming in. Like no matter what we do, Pharah gets free reign on this point. Zenyatta should have a hell of a time, but still he can still find the Discords on most of the targets. Like it just depends on where they're at. Like he won't be able to find too many Discords on like say their choke, right? Because he just won't have LOS at least quick enough. But that's fine. Like what he's really good at here is stopping them from one taking, like ironically he could stop them from taking the high ground, because if you Discord that D.Va, you guys just dive the D.Va and she's forced to leave. Like the monkey D.Va can't out-duel our monkey D.Va because we have Discord and they don't. So he could stop them from taking the high ground by placing Discord, and we can just take that high ground. So no one gets to play the high ground. Like we have like the pseudo high ground. Like we get the high ground and we don't use it, but we don't let them have it either. Is one way this can happen too. Again, like because of the new the Pharah, they call it a buff. We call it a nerf. Because she can't fly in the air like normal. Hacking or discording a Pharah is really good, because hacking a discorded Pharah, we've already established that if a Pharah is on the ground, she's the call. Like just pretty much no questions asked. So like Pharah is a great Discord target because she just dies, and then Mercy's a good Discord target as well. Either one of them that gets hacked is a great Discord target. So that's kind of what you're looking at for the Zenyatta. Monkey, Tracer, Sombra are all eyes forward. We are attacking their backline or diving someone. We're giving them hell. And so that leaves our D.Va. D.Va can either go forward on the dive or peel. So what would dictate that? In this comp, like they have Monkey, D.Va, Tracer are the only people that could, Sombra, that are the only people that could actually physically get to the back line that D.Va can actually peel and deal with. So if all three peel, that's kind of like your middle ground of I don't freaking know. I just have to make a decision. Because if all three peel, their supports, well, their Ana their Ana's dead if all three peel. So actually, yeah, now that I think about it, they have Pharmacy. I was thinking they had Zenyatta too. So yeah, if all of them peel, all of them dive, then you have to peel. So yeah, I think here you 100% peel, actually. So let me try and explain like what is going on in my head. And it's just a man-to-man match. So we have two supports that will always be on the ground, always be dive targets. So that means if they commit one person, so say if Monkey just commits, you don't need to dive at all because Ana and Zen can handle Monkey by themselves. They don't need you. Now, if Monkey and D.Va dive, it's 2v2. We don't take fair fights. So you could peel, or you could go help with the dive. No, sorry, you should still peel because we don't want to take an even fight. So anyone above, any number above one person in this comp, you peel for, because you always want to make it a man advantage for your supports right now. So think of it like, okay, I have two supports that I have to peel for, so anytime there's two people on them, I peel. Anytime that there's only one person on them, I don't peel. So make it as simple as that for now. So if monkey just goes, you stay, you can go forward. But if anyone else plus monkey or just 2 people, 2 dive people, 2 dive heroes go on our supports, then you should peel for them. Now Tracer is like the floater. If she's around, she could also choose to peel. If not, and then she could choose to go forward. So there's not a hard rule for Tracer. And so like if that Sombra was a Tracer though, then you could argue that it just gets detailed. Well, not detailed, but just so many like if-else statements. It's like freaking code. Because there's a mini game that goes on between Tracers. There's a style of like Tracer duels. Like if you're Sabiobi from Nixel, he likes to take Tracer fights. So he will mirror the other Tracer wherever they go. So he's always looking for the Tracer duel because he can believe he can beat any Tracer. So if Nox is playing that style, then by default he would be peeling because he would always be on the other Tracer. Or he could play to ignore the other Tracer and always go for their back line. So then he would never be peeling, right? So it's but there's not a rule. That's just what does Nox feel like doing that day, unless we really feel their Tracers like being oppressive, and then you guys get to go be like, hey Nox, we need you to mirror that Tracer. We just need it. So that's a Nox thing, and that's a decision that he can make personally, and then if the team feels he needs to mirror the Tracer, you guys can just call for that. So I know that got convoluted, but that's the gist. Do I need to kind of like re-explain it again?
I don't think so.
Nope.
Yeah,
No.
I know it got convoluted. That's dive. It changes literally with each dive hero.
I meant to ask, are you recording these VOD
I am.
reviews?
Yeah, I'm recording these. Yeah.
I might have to go back.
Yeah, it's fine. I said I would like to do the whole screen because there was good stuff in each map. So these will be, unfortunately, they'll be broken up into many parts. So it could be a fairly long week of VOD reviews, but I hope that will be good though.
Yeah. Hopefully everyone watches them.
Yeah, I already know it's not gonna happen, but you know, it's what it is. Yeah,
I'll
at
bother
least-
Taco every day until he does.
As long as it helps the people that really want to be helped, then you know I'll be satisfied. And then if people fall behind, they'll get kicked. It's kind of simple as that.
This one. What you said? I boot to
I
point.
can't see anyone.
Jump onto
Jumping
the
back.
right choke.
Oh.
Right. Jump
So,
the right
yeah,
choke.
so
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
here
yeah.
we try and
Yeah,
get to
yeah,
high
yeah,
ground,
yeah.
which we
Got the
seems like
Pharah?
we do, but ideally we really don't want to if we can help it.
Ah,
Because Pharah just doesn't allow us to have it.
Give us one. Give us one. Give us one. Give us one.
As you can see, like you're in the fight, right, and you could do this exact job from main, and you can see how clear main is down there.
Yeah.
So you know it's
I
it's
end up
just-
there.
Yeah, I know y'all do.
Monkey,
Diva?
monkey, monkey.
He was out of mech. He was out of mech.
Pressuring
Like,
the monkey.
yeah.
Monkey,
Diva's
monkey, monkey, monkey,
discording.
monkey.
Where?
Can we get the Ana on me? Can we get the
Ana,
Ana on
Ana.
me?
Yup.
Yeah, there.
No support.
How to back out? How to back out?
Monkey.
Monkey.
He was out of mech.
Pressuring the
nice,
monkey,
man.
monkey,
Diva's
monkey, monkey, monkey,
discording.
monkey.
Where?
Can we get the Ana on me? Can we get the
Ana,
Ana on me?
Yup.
Yeah, there.
No support.
How to
Huge.
back out? How to back out?
Yeah.
Monkey. Or Ana. I'm out here.
How did they
I'm
stay
out.
alive that long?
On zone.
They have supports, we don't.
No.
And
How
then-
did we stay
how
alive?
do you-
How
I don't know.
did our
It took
tanks
you-
stay alive that long?
I think yeah, I don't know.
Your tanks are just gods. They can't be touched.
You should have known that was coming. But here's where I wanted to talk about Phantom's EMP generation. That was one fight and dive, and he got EMP. This is what we want out of our Sombra. Like, the Sombra works when your Sombra is generating EMP like this. This is, like, even though we lost that fight, look at our ult economy. We already have 4 ults. Like, and look, they won that fight. We have more ults than they do. Like, you are okay with that fight.
I'm not okay with
Yeah,
Nah.
well,
I expect 100% win percentage.
What are they gonna have?
I would like it, but I don't
They got
expect it.
Farah.
Ana's probably got a good amount.
Think in the back of my mind, Primal was getting popped if that hit.
But
Farah's a
Farah's
choke.
close.
They might have.
If it ticked to 100, it was getting popped immediately. In the back of my mind.
Tanks are high
My
ground.
turn.
Everybody else is left side.
All right. So how do we want to break into this? Well, let's dive. So like they can't hold the choke, so the choke's relatively free. So it's kind of like where is Farah not? And sure, like if she's holding main, then you kind of like you have DM, so you can make it in. So you're okay with that. So now this is where this is like who did we say could break open any area that we want to attack? Our Zenyatta. So like this is where Zenyatta has to look for a Discord based on the info that is being fed to us by Phantom. So he has said these things. Where is where is our dive target now based on the info that we have heard from Phantom and that we now see on the screen? Hint, you guys go to the correct place.
Towards street side?
No, what's our dive target?
Oh.
Yeah, what's our dive target?
Arana.
Can we reach Arana?
Nope.
Right. So not a dive target. Remember, you're okay with taking space in stages.
Is
High
it
ground.
deep?
Yeah. Right? Look at that diva. Look at that. Look at that. Not only that, but we have a Zenyatta. If that so like sure, what if our Monkey Diva are the only ones that go up there and their Monkey Diva peel? So we've got a Zenyatta. We automatically win that fight. It just doesn't matter, right? So we don't care. But Phantom's up there, Monkey's there, Diva's ready or getting ready, right? So like, yeah, this is based on what we see and what we hear. That Diva's a target. So like all you're looking for is with the, like this only works when we get the Discord in place. Like if it's just a mirror match, like breaking like Zenyatta allows for you to stop that defender's advantage. That's like the thing about first fight King of the Hill is that it gives a team the defender's advantage. Only the first fight is where both teams are on neutral ground because no one owns point, everyone's in the middle. You're fighting for the point. But now look like they get to control all of the map, right? But Zenyatta makes that uneven. Zenyatta now gets to say, no, we want to take that area over there, and we get to just take it if we want to. So like that's getting the power of Zenyatta, and I will brag about it to my grave.
Until
like-
they nerf Zenyatta.
Then I will uninstall.
Farah's right side.
Huge
right side,
jump,
y'all's right
Luna.
side, y'all's right side.
I got the Sombra. She probably has EMP.
She has no trans. She has no trans. She's top.
Okay, can
She
you
was
dive
taking
on
notes
me
from the
up
last
there?
scrim.
DM up top.
Or far.
Okay.
It's not
I'm gonna
happening.
jump in 3, 2,
Open
1.
their
Jumping.
back. They're tanks.
So the Diva moves, that's fine. But hey, we get an EMP on the pharmacy.
They countered it.
It's yeah, so they countered up. Cool. This will be good.
Okay, can you dive on me?
How
I'm gonna
far
EMP
is
them up
hacked?
top.
Or far
Okay.
is not
I'm gonna
happening.
jump in 3, 2,
Open
1.
their
Jumping.
back. They're tanks.
So ideally, in a perfect world, ideally we say we're diving up top. As we go in, Zenyatta then peeks, slaps that Discord on. You guys land and murder the target. Unfortunately, we dive and then they dive as well. All right, so we are in this pickle of who should go where. So let's see what we could have done. Monkey and Diva dive. All right. So then, with our rule, where should Colo be?
Turn around, puggers.
Turn around. Yeah. Now, the dive, they executed the dive when we dove. I'm not expecting you to turn your jump jets in the middle and like go back. That's
I am.
It's
I do.
Well, you have high expectations from your team. Good luck, Colo.
I think.
Yeah, but if we were able to see this, like if they did dive at the same time we did, you would be expected to stay because it's 3v2. You have Discord, you guys win. No, just hands down. So, and then, because ideally, right, we have Monkey, Tracer, Sombra. They are enough to commit a dive, right? So D.Va isn't needed. That's why she's the real floater, right? So that's why she's the one who has to make the decision of where do I go. So like D.Va isn't needed. She's just extra helpful.
They counter div. They counter div on. Counter div on.
Yeah, Phantom
Summer
solo
next
I can't see
gets
Stomper,
with
Stomper.
Pharah, who is discorded, which is fantastic. That's the only reason the only way he was able to kill the
I'm gonna
Pharah.
jump in
So
3,
now I'm looking
2,
for where
1,
They're
Tracer
back.
jumping.
They're
is.
tanks.
They counter div. They counter div on. Counter div on.
Okay.
I'm left.
So Tracer peels. Not gonna say that's right or wrong. Because ideally the numbers thing still works, right? It should still be a 3v2. So if
Me,
you're
I'm
going,
gonna-
so like
See them up top.
technically if the call was for Tracer to peel instead of D.Va, everything that just happens is
Sure.
fine. Now it's just
Okay.
about positioning and
It's not-
timing.
I'm gonna jump in 3, 2,
Walking
1,
their
jumping.
back. They're tanks.
They counter.
So, like, because you can see like no one's there until so technically no one's peeling right now, which is why our supports die. Like die easily at least.
They counter div. They counter div on. Counter div on.
But Tracer eventually gets there, but there's already enough damage, or look at our supports' health, they're already less than half, so they're just going to die. So like that play was fine, just it has to be quicker, and the only way it's going to be quicker, let's see, the only way it's going to be quicker is if we have made that decision to begin with, or we instinctively know this is what we should be doing.
Summer next.
I can't see Stomper, Stomper.
Trying to get out. Trying to get out.
Okay.
The tanks are
Anna,
behind. The
Anna's
tanks
on point. Anna's on point.
I'm dead. This is winnable.
Winning. Stomper. She's top. She's top.
I'm playing choke.
Far top.
Reloading.
Who's next?
Oh, Rav
Mercy,
lives.
Mercy's out.
Why?
Winning. Perhaps Stomper, a god. Stomper.
Hey, I saved
She's
him.
top. I can see Stomper,
Because
Stomper.
I got a little bit of peel, but also because I played around corners that entire time, so there's no cleave ever.
Yeah, which is why, I mean, Taco goes in and it takes 2 far rockets
I got the
beforehand.
Sombra.
Yeah.
She probably has the
She has
MP.
no trans. She has no
And then I
trans.
think he
She's
got
top.
jump back slammed.
Okay, can you dive
rockets
on
there.
me? I'm
Forest
gonna EMP them up
hacked.
top.
Or
So he's
Forest
low.
not
I'm gonna
hacked.
jump in 3, 2,
Walking
1.
their
Yeah,
Jump.
he's half
back.
right
They're
now.
tanks.
Oh yeah, he never got
They
back to
counter.
full.
They counter div.
Yeah, no wonder he
Counter
does.
div on. Counter div on.
Rav nades himself.
Summer next.
I can't see Stomper, Stomper.
Yeah, I mean, hell of a peel, Tracer.
The tanks are
Anna,
behind.
Hell of a
Anna's on
field,
point.
Tracer.
Anna's on point.
Now imagine if you were there earlier.
Point on.
might have saved Taco, but hell of a peel, dude. That wins this fight, actually.
Thank you.
Chaser
Winning,
carry colors.
Hey Taco, we just saw you get annihilated. How you doing?
Winning.
You can thank Nox for not saving
For
your
what?
life.
Oh,
Not existing earlier.
Stomper. She's top.
I'm playing choke. I'm
And
playing
then
choke.
looks like it's a
Summer's
dive
out.
team for here.
Tanks.
Summer's
We
it.
get
Summer's
the-
it. Far as back.
I'm dead.
Clicking as hard
Are you
as.
skipping
Summer
around
next
with my
up.
Can't see
lag?
Stomper.
I hit the 30-second forward.
Stomper.
Trying to get out.
Summer.
Trying to get out. The tanks are
Anna.
behind. They counter. They counter.
So so that was a bit of misinformation on Phantom because he said dive top. So I get why you guys like overshoot it a bit. So here like a target should have been called, which
Counter div on. Counter div on.
I don't think there's a clear.
He
target
he
called.
told me to
Forest
dive
hacked.
on him,
Yeah,
so I dove on him,
Yeah.
and then there was no one there. 3, 2,
Yeah.
Walking
1,
their
jumping.
back. They're
Yeah, so like I get why you and D.Va overshot because I heard the same thing. So like that's more on
Tanks.
him
They counter. They counter div. They counter div on.
because that Mercy should have died and then the Pharah
Counter div on.
because she was the one that was there. So yeah, like he should have called Mercy, and then we go on Pharah.
Summer next.
I can't see
Which is why
Stomper.
this is a
Stomper.
bit slightly scuffed, and she actually gets the res.
The
That's
tanks
not
are
good.
behind. The
Anna's
tanks are
on point.
Alright, so where is?
They counter div. They counter div on. Counter div on.
Summer next.
I can't see Stomper. Stomper.
Trying to get out. The tanks are behind. The
Anna's
tanks
on point. Anna's on point.
Okay, yeah, so that's just not target focus, which is that's fine. That's
I'm dead.
Phantom not calling a target.
Winning,
so
winning,
that's,
winning.
That's fine.
Sombra.
It's just make like he has to. We've talked. He has to call a target, so we'll get that cleaned up.
Sombra. She's top, she's
I'm
top,
playing
she's
choke,
top.
I'm playing choke.
Far top, far top.
Dive team did fine.
Reloading.
I'm gonna stay top. I'm on Rissy. Rissy's out.
Good job playing slow. Really good job
He's on
playing slow.
point.
Like we don't
He's
have
on
to
point.
win it now. We would like to, but we don't have to win it now. Just as long as we win it.
Like that's on the point.
She's top, top.
I'm on my
Waiting
way
for
back.
heals.
New
Play
boosters,
slow.
boosters. Sombra dead.
Summer's dead. Far's back. I've got Nano.
Tanks are back.
Far,
Tanks are back. Tanks are back.
Fair hack.
Far hack.
On their far, on their far.
Put a bomb here.
I have a question.
Sombra dead.
Yes, sir.
Something I've been doing lately, instead of trying to like, I've been trying to put out when I have Nano to say that I've got it, so that we know, so that like Laverne knows that he has it as a tool in his pocket.
Mhm.
Because I'm not always in a place where I can say like, okay, let's Nano this dive or let's Nano this. Is that the right kind of thinking, or should I still be
Yes.
trying to look for? Okay.
No, everyone should be saying when they have their ult.
Okay.
So, yeah, so those in-game decisions can be in-fight decisions can be made, because like as we said before, your role as shot caller is pre-fight. That's it. You can't control what happens during the fight. All you can do is prep the team for what we want to do and what the ideal situation we would like to happen is. Other than that, it's on everyone else to know, like, just to know what to do as the fight goes on and as it evolves.
Summer's dead. Far's back. I've got Nano.
Tanks are back. Tanks are back. Tanks are back.
Fair hack.
I have a question about what I do here.
Sir. Alright.
Okay, so I see the monkey dive Arana.
On their far.
Now, I know that the monkey wouldn't be over there to bubble it, so I bomb. But that means I don't have a mech to help Arana and not die.
I've got Nano.
Tanks are back.
So, is that like a bad thing? Or like,
Who's right next to Arana?
On their far.
I don't know.
Who? Okay, so from your perspective, who's to your left?
Sombra dead.
Summer's dead.
I didn't look to my left.
Far's back.
I don't.
I've got Nano.
Okay, well, when you line up the bomb, I want you to look. Who's right next to Arana right now?
Taco.
Uh huh.
I'd
What
say-
What was the soft rule Zine put in place? If it's just Monkey that jumps onto Ana Zen, you don't need to be there.
Okay, so it's good. So chill.
Yeah, no, that was a fine bomb.
Okay.
Thank you, Laverne.
I was like gone for like half an hour.
Not to
so I
make
don't
fun of
think I
you,
did.
Colo, but it was it was like the last thing he talked to you about.
I'm gonna just finish this noose I was making earlier. Yeah, I'm on the second floor. Yeah, this should be high enough. Yeah. So there's no way Ana is in legitimately died to just a solo monkey. So yeah,
Okay.
like your bomb was fine, and Baby Diva is fine to take out a discorded monkey as well. So it's fine. Yeah,
Especially my baby diva.
it was a especially a Baby Diva. So yeah, this is a good play. It was a really good play.
On their far.
Put a bomb here.
Yeah, I wish he just started getting Taco to like immediately Zen orb Ana when the dive happens. He hasn't been orbing her at all.
Monkey's
Mercy's one.
discorded.
Huge.
Monkey.
Obviously,
I'm
it's just
gonna sleep.
her
Monkey,
first
monkey.
time.
I missed it.
Second
I need
time.
help.
You have a point.
Hey,
You have a point. You have a mech. You have a mech. She bombed.
Keep bombing.
Luna realized he wasn't killing
Back
either of
in
them.
Alright, all things considered, Taco did a really great job as a
Oh,
first
yeah.
time on
Absolutely.
for this. Dude, that was awesome.
Rotate
Do you
up,
think
rotate up,
Luna
rotate
talks
up.
about Laverne as much as
I don't
Laverne
wanna
talks
be
about
up the
their Montagues?
Okay.
No.
Dude, she
No one
studies
talks
my
about Laverne.
gameplay.
No one talks about Laverne as much as Laverne does.
Ironically, though, they do talk about us. I think after scrims a decent amount. Cause I talked to her yesterday. She was like, "Yeah, we're still talking about that Anubis."
Susie Anubis. Oh god.
They're like, yeah, because apparently Anubis is their map when they're like everything's going bad. Just pick Anubis because they always win Anubis.
Oh no.
Oh no.
They're like,
Oh,
well,
no,
crap,
no,
they beat
no,
us on
no.
Anubis every time we played them because we beat them in the tournament and on Anubis.
Oh, did we too?
And won the match, yeah. And like
Oh,
they picked
no,
Anubis
no,
to get
no.
full held. So yeah,
They're,
that was
they're
Rib.
left side choke right now with Fair Mercy.
you're definitely a
Everybody else
very
is
good
barely
scrim
coming back.
partner for them because we
Okay.
test them apparently.
Yeah.
I don't need healing. I missed it.
I'm over. I'm
Got
over
it.
my
Leave it
bounce
on
pad
Nox.
right now.
So it's just we can't lose Anubis. Like that's what you got to tell them.
Yeah, as much as you can have it on Nox or
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Like
right
just
here, they're right
don't
here.
scrim us
They're
on
right here.
Anubis because
Okay.
we just can't lose on it.
Oasis University.
Alright, so situation here. They have EMP, but we're dive, so we kind of don't care. Our biggest threats is if we dive, like if our so like there's kind of two sections. If our dive team dives and they get EMP'd, they're pretty screwed. If our supports get EMP'd, they are pretty screwed. So like both there needs to be kind of like a response from really just the supports on surviving those EMPs. So when we know that they have EMP, it depends on what we have available, especially our ults. This is like ult cycling with dive is super important. You always want to have like a set of dive ults for each fight and then use them and then have the next ult up for the next fight. So like if we get, so like in this case, this is a really good example. So we have, so one, when we're talking about like our monkey has primal. That means like that's legit, Laverne. You can solo queue straight up with primal. Like if you see a dive opportunity, because primal lets you live in the back line forever. So you can just straight up solo her Ana and just primal her into a corner and win the fight for your team. Like you don't need dive help, you don't need Tracer or Sombra's Call, you can just go do it. But along with that, the reason that's good is because if Monkey goes in and causes a lot of havoc, he might get focused, he might even get EMP'd. Or even if like Monkey and D.Va go and get EMP'd, then like sure they're going to die, but here's where our response from our supports come in. So if the EMP happens on our dive tanks, then on like we can if we feel like we only need nano, we can pop nano to save and help them help our primal monkey withstand EMP. So part of like so a bit of a part of that is hopefully you pop primal by the time you get EMP. So if you see your decloak, pop primal before you get EMP. Now you have 1000 HP plus nano. So 1300 HP with 50% damage reduction to like survive this EMP and continue doing things. If we need something like trance, like maybe both or the whole dive team gets hurt, then we could trance them and keep them up kind of deal. So like it's the dive team can help, or like the way they dive will dictate like the enemy's response, kind of deal. Because like, so like if you have primal, you're safe to go in and you're kind of acting like bait for their EMP, for their focus, because you want to be the team that gets EMP'd because you have support ults, so you're not really in too much danger. So like if you go in solo and they think they can get that kill, they're you kind of bait them into EMPing you or hurting you, and then you just get nanoed or tranced and you're fine. But now if they EMP our supports, not like the dive team, again, the dive team doesn't care, unfortunately. The dive team does not care about the supports. So like that's just the normal Zen. You gotta hide for the EMP because Sombra's probably going to, like a good Sombra will just straight up try and solo EMP a Zen as well. So like just be prepared for that. So if that happens, Ana is perfectly okay to nano your Zen and keep them up. Perfectly okay, even if he has trance, because he's EMP, so he can't use it. So like both of you want to try and have something between the two of you if possible, so both of you don't get EMP'd. As long as only one of you get EMP'd, then the other one can protect the other one, if that makes sense. So you two are protecting each other against the EMP. So, and then you're just waiting for help to arrive at that point, which should be Colo or Nox. It's how you're going to play against TMPs. Does that bit make sense?
Mostly, yeah.
Mostly. What's the not mostly?
I don't really know why I only said mostly. It makes sense.
I love it. Yes, sir.
I don't know what's going on, but you're cutting out a lot.
Am I cutting out to everyone?
No.
No.
No, it's
Taco, you're really laggy for me. And cutting out.
It's a taco with you, sad face.
Oh.
I remember when Taco used to make fun of my internet, and I get to do the same.
Yeah.
Are we okay?
I think Taco's having issues with his mic.
Oh my god.
Mr. Rocco.
Yeah, I should. Maybe if I talk like this.
Shut up, Colo.
I heard something.
What the hell?
Who's blowing into their mic?
I think it was Taco.
Oh.
I think he's fiddling with his mic.
It might have been Rav because he's muted now.
All you hear is.
No,
The
I'm
dynamic
practicing
between our
while
men.
listening to this. Because I've got to record when we're done.
Cuffed.
The dynamic between our main tank and off tank.
I'm ready for it.
I'm looking
Dive
to look for
monkey,
a
dive
stick.
monkey, dive monkey, dive. He's
They
on
nano
top.
monkey. They nano monkey.
Sombra is on point.
She's one. Got her.
I'm on monkey cell. I'm on monkeys one. Monkeys one. Monkeys one.
I'm looking to
Dive
look for
monkey,
a
dive
stick.
monkey, dive monkey, dive. He's
They
on
nano.
top.
So the call was, so let's just listen
Yeah, they're
to
right here. They're right here at choke. They're right here
like
at
the
choke.
call
Okay.
and see
On
if
your
we
call
can
here.
go through everyone's
I'm ready for it.
what their decision could very well be,
I'm
like what
looking
their,
to
if
look
they
for a
do
stick.
that right action or not.
Monkey, dive.
So we dive monkey,
He's on top.
monkey diva go. So one, so let's keep on going. So if we're saying dive monkey, we as Zenyatta are looking to find the Discord on the monkey, which we get. Awesome. Oh well, we get the hack.
Monkey. They nano.
Yeah, so just there's a Discord. So cool. He's hacked and discorded. Awesome. Monkey Diva go. That's fine because our supports are fine. So they're not getting dove. So this is a like with dive. It's also really good to be the first to act because it forces them to react in some way. So if there's a dive coming in, they have to make the decision: do we go for the supports or do we peel? Right? And this is a great situation where we're okay with them peeling because we have primal, we have ults, right? So we're okay with them peeling because we're just going to outpower their peel anyway because we have ults. So like we don't care if they peel, and even then if they peel, they're gonna be forced to use ults anyway, which we're okay with, right? Because that just betters the ult economy. We may lose the fight, but we're gonna win the next fight. And all this time, our Sombra is looking for, like always, like to farm that EMP. We're okay even if we lose this fight, as long as this fight goes long, because we want our farmer sombring. That's Sombra farming. Holy crap. Yes. Now, as a plan, diving monkey is a terrible idea 9 times out of 10. His Ana's alive. He has armor still. So like, if we're diving monkey, sure, just know we're not getting the kill anytime soon. We don't have that kind of damage to actually kill a monkey even with Discord.
That's why I jumped where I did when he said dive monkey, was to isolate him from his Ana.
Yeah, that's smart.
Because if we did have a chance to kill him, then it would be without the Ana being able to help him.
Yeah. Yeah, and if he didn't have nano, it's a possibility. It would take some pretty heavy focus fire. But like, yes, bubbling the Ana does at least make it a chance. But it's just more like it's more than likely not going to happen. But it was a good decision. If that, like, I'm glad that we follow a call and try to make it happen. That's always what should happen. Unless like you obviously it's like see another opportunity like now, like diving the Ana is changing the target calling to Ana right now would be the play because she's in the middle of her team. Like we'll end it just in the middle of the road. But not only that, we can make aggressive plays again because we have ults. This is what makes like dive strong. We have primal, so we can make this fight go on for a long time. We have nano, so we can make this fight go even longer. We have trance, we can make this fight go even longer. In that time, we're going to build EMP. In that time, Nox will have killed their team. So like, that's what we're looking for. So we're okay with going aggressive. Now, if we didn't have ults, we don't want to go this aggressive. You want to play to, again, make time for your Sombra to find an opportunity, for Tracer to find an opportunity, or to like, and then create a hard dive target. And then other than that, you're just playing for time and to farm ults. This plays only fine because we have like primal and both support ults. Because there's no way our monkey's dying here because we have those ults. So like this is why this aggressive play can work and should happen. I would love for us to always be aggressive when we have these ults.
Monkey.
Sombra is on point.
She's one. Got her.
I'm on monkey cell. I'm on monkeys one.
Diva.
Monkey's dead.
Far.
I need to clear my throat.
Mercy low.
Huh?
I need to clear my throat, bro.
I'm on Diva.
Diva's
On,
left.
on,
Diva's dead.
Who's on point?
Diva dead.
Hello,
Nice,
right?
nice. Yeah, Taco, we want to stay back.
And
Long range.
look
It's okay.
at that ult cycling. We close to EMP, and now we used one tank ult but have the other. And we have another support ult. Our other support ult still up, and we have pulse. So like we're in the exact same position. We can still aggressively die because guess what? If things go bad, Diva just bombs. They have to scatter, and you get healed up during the bomb, and you just re-go. You just go again, and then that time Nox is killing their whole team, and then in that time Sombra's farming EMP. Right? Do you see how that cycle is kind of working there? And then next fight, we are close to nano. We have EMP. Well, we might use it this fight. Who knows? We'll be halfway to primal, right? So like, if they're going to win any fight, it's going to be the next one, ideally. So, because we're kind of in the middle of the road. So like here, if we can just win with bomber, if we just win with bomb or pulse or trance, the next fight is game over because they just don't win because we have EMP kind of deal. So like, can you see that happening? Can you see how that ult rotation kind of works?
Yes.
So it's really important not to blow all our ults if we can. And if you are going to blow ults, one at a time, because you want to prolong the fight. You want that counter going up as much as possible. Not only that, but you want your Sombra in the fight long enough to keep building your EMP. And then keep feeding your supports ult charge.
Yeah.
It's hard
Okay.
because you want to press W.
They
right?
didn't use any ults, right?
No.
No.
And all this time, we haven't been dying to their far. Like, you guys are not taking stupid spam damage.
They're
It's
choke.
awesome.
Yes, they nanoed the monkey.
Yeah,
They're
that's
at
right.
choke right
Sombra should be like Sombra should have had her EMP by now because he knows to go in there and farm that last 10%.
No.
So
They're
at
have
choke.
him go in there and farm the last 10% when they're in spawn.
Sorry.
Except for
Alright, I'm
Nano.
yours again here, Phantom.
Okay. Taco,
Uh,
hey, Zion.
Yes, sir.
Not to be rude to Valkyries, but do you think we would still like this? Like, is our positioning incumbent on like even if a better Pharah was playing against us?
Like,
Like,
as far as positioning, you said?
Yeah, well, like because I mean, you can negate Pharah with good positioning for the most
Uh-huh.
part, right? Her spam leads. So, like, would Dig even be having a problem farming off of us? That's my question because I can't tell if like Trangalila is like a really good Pharah or if she's like mediocre and we're just way outplaying. You know what I mean? The question that I'm asking.
I would honestly have to go back and like watch this VOD over. So once I
Okay.
cut the review, which will be after this map, because yay, I spent 2 hours on one map. Maybe we can go back and just check that out and see what if, because
I'm
like
not trying to again. I'm not trying to be rude to this team that we have
no, I
a
mean
relationship with. Like, I
yeah,
want to be realistic. If we're gonna go play against someone who's of dig quality or better, like maybe we aren't actually outplaying a better Pharah. That's what I'm worried about.
right. Well, I could
So we
say
don't
for
get
yeah, I could say for certain, you guys outplayed them on Gardens for
Okay.
certain, because you guys took the fights quick and dirty. Like it doesn't matter if it was Prophet, you know. He can only shoot whatever far his fire rate is, and if his team dies before, then will so be it.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
here,
So like those kind of things make sense. That's why I'm asking, because I just don't want us to feel like I don't want to feel like okay, I have an idea of how to like play around a Pharah now, and then go against a good Pharah and they go fuck this on, you know,
right? Yeah.
I would like to direct your attention to like the middle right side of your screen.
Don't worry, it's coming.
With a big question mark on it.
Yeah. It is coming. Because right before you asked that question, I was going to point out, look where we let them come in, right? At this point, we shouldn't be outplaying anybody. We let Dive walk into point uncontested, right? They should be hit like what does Dive want? They want space. What did we give them? We gave them point. We gave them defender's advantage, where they should have to work for that by killing us off of the point. So this is not what we're looking for. I mean, I don't know if it's the first time we've done it, but this is definitely a very bad culprit of that. They get this for free. That's not good. Hit them like we have tank ults. We should have had EMP. Kill them at the choke. Right? Don't let make them have to earn that space. That we just gave them here. So in this spot, Dig would. Well, no, not even then. He would murder Taco. So Taco's out of position. But first time playing Zen, I get it. But that's just a straight up dive target. Pharah kills him in 2 rockets and will be on her business. But look at I could see the shot from Ana in the back. Pharah can't hit that until she goes over the wall. So your positioning is safe. Our dive tanks they can't be hit because they're behind the wall, so they're safe. So no, Prophet won't even kill anybody right now because he can't see anybody. So positioning wise we're fine, but engagement timing we're really poor. We let this happen, and that could be that's probably a lack in urgency on Phantom's part and just as a team part. Just urging again, hit them at this choke. Their dive, we do not want to let them in this choke. They should not get this for free, not when we have the ability to stop them. It's different if we don't have the ability to stop them. But they shouldn't just get through here for free. We should be soft diving and building ult charge, letting Nox maybe one clip the on in the back line or getting a hack, something. They should be contested at the choke, if not killed at the choke. But we let them walk right in. So that's not good. So they should have been contested here. So this a good team would punish. So that's their fault for leaving Ana. So good. That's a good spot on Phantom because now their Ana gets demolished. But if you look at the bottom of the screen, our Anas in are probably also about to get demolished. So, which is a thing. So yeah, our Zen dies as he should because he was in the middle of the point, and then support died. Yeah, so that was us letting them walk in choke, and so even a bad team like Valkyries will capitalize on that when we let them have defender's advantage. So just don't let a dive team through choke. Make them do what you guys have to do. Remember when they won the first fight, they staged, and we had to aggressively take the high ground. Even then, they let us through choke for free, and we won that fight, right? They shouldn't have let us through choke for free. But at least they staged and had the high ground, and we had to have something to work for. They didn't have to work for anything. They just walked in and just pressed in whatever their jump button is.
Monkey long.
Mercy. Bring up. I got the Mercy. Use that mech. Sombra's on me.
This is winnable.
Ana.
Baby dead.
Ana,
Still
Ana.
winnable. Still winnable.
Got her.
Where?
That's one.
Far,
That's
far.
Stay on the far. Stay on the far.
Good job, Phantom.
I'm-
Solo far up.
Ana.
Baby dead.
Ana,
It
Ana.
was on the ground, by the
Got
way.
Where?
that's one. That's
Hey.
one.
He'll have it back by the time they're back to choke.
Hated this Farah,
Stay on
man.
the far.
Kill the fire, kill the fire. Dude, the way he says, like the way
Last fight. Last fight.
the authority in his voice when he says kill the fire.
Hey, when you can't play a character, it pisses you off when you see that character in game.
Same thing as with Lucio.
I was about to whisper in there, like, dude,
Okay.
not needed.
Come to me.
Again.
Come.
We let them in. We let them through choke. But now, good example. Well, let's see. Our monkey's dead, so we can't engage them through choke. Fair enough. So we have to let them through choke. We should at least be staging though. Like everyone else can stage except for monkey. Like we shouldn't at least let them have this high ground for free. And kind of deal, right? So we're on the ground as D.Va. Ana and Zen are on points. This is not good. Luckily, this is a stagger fight. Luckily. Or else, again, we just saw what happened last fight when we let them through choke. Ana and Zen just died. That same thing would happen here because guess what? We let Monkey walk through choke. But it's a stagger fight, so it's just Monkey and Mercy.
To me,
Luckily.
Monkey is discorded.
Monkey slept.
Jump monkey. Jump monkey.
Get monkey. Get
Monkey's
monkey.
still discorded.
Monkey.
Alright.
She has primal. She has primal.
Monkey's dead.
D.Va discorded.
Got the Moira.
Oh shit.
Oh, I was
Can't see.
inside.
Thomas half.
That was.
Slept the somber.
Yeah, that's what
Sorry,
happens
Dad.
when our supports hold
Big.
choke
That
and we
was
don't
bomb.
stage.
Get out. Get out. Get out.
We made that way too easy for them. And not only that, but if we had staged even properly, we would have all 6 ults right now. Everyone's really close to their ults. So if we had made that fight last a little bit longer on our 99%, we make them use EMP Bomb and Barrage and Valk and Cole, and we have 6 ults. Guess who's winning the next fight?
Get out. Get out.
Barrage,
Like
right?
easy.
No more
Two on
picks. No
point.
more
Me.
picks.
So. Yes, sir.
Oh, I was saying I win the fight easily. You win the fight.
Yeah, yes. Colo wins the fight.
I have trans.
I won the fight.
We have
Yeah.
to.
So what
I'm
we're
close,
gonna
Mom.
do is we're gonna go in with trance. Okay, we're gonna trance together, push in, and then we're gonna whatever ults we get, we gotta just fight. So push in.
So yeah, we don't need the trance. No one's has like let trance in this situation, let trance be the ult that needed to save our monkey or save someone from dying. We don't need to get to point with trance. We have Sombra who can touch point at any time, Tracer that can touch point at any time, D.Va, monkey, like we're a dive, right? Any one of these characters can touch point whenever they feel like it and get out. So we're fine. We don't need to get into point safely.
Let's go.
Like monkey was fine touching point at 97 by himself. Remember, overtime starts at 97. If you just touch it and get off, it will trigger still. So, like, even you can get in, take some damage, get healed, and go back in, and still in time to fight the overtime fight.
I touched here.
Yep.
Monkey on backline. Monkey on backline.
Monkey anti on
Murno
Ana.
fade.
Monkey,
Murno
anti-
fade. No more.
With you.
Bye, Rav.
With you.
Sayonara.
I'm on their Sombra.
Oh,
Farah,
she overjumped.
Sombra's
Discorded.
disconnected. Far. Monkey on backline. Monkey on
I was
backline.
about to
Monkey
grab
anti on
Murno
Ana.
fade.
I think
Murno
when I
fade.
die to a primaling monkey.
Yes.
With you.
the hold. Ah, she takes forever to
I'm on
kill
their
you though.
Sombra.
Farah,
It's fine.
Farah is
Sombra's
discorded.
I'm still healing.
Yeah, you're like still go. That's what I'm talking about though. Like that's it.
Monkey on backline.
That's the honor focus you gotta have.
Monkey anti on
Murno
Ana.
fade. Murno fade. No more.
Alright, so remember, so yeah, as we alluded to with the TVK VOD review yesterday, as support, your job is always to take care of the other support. So if you have orb on your Ana, she has a much easier time surviving this monkey. Not only that, you discord this monkey and you're killing this monkey with your Ana and with your D.Va who's actually healing. So yay. So like if your back there's in, you guys are pretty safe in the back line. Let your you don't need to be in the front line.
With you. I'm on their somber.
Helping the dive team.
Somber's
Yeah,
behind
yeah,
me.
yeah.
Fire. Fire is one up top.
First one, first.
Monkey.
Nice.
Monkey point.
Who's next?
You guys
Use that
just
use that
the
mech.
you guys
Going
just
baby,
the
going
better team
baby
at this
dead.
point.
Where's Monkey? Monkey's up.
Where's Monkey?
Nice.
Take point. Boom.
Push up the choke. Don't let them in.
No, Phantom did get a one fight EMP. You're right.
Told you.
Massive bomb on the pharmacy.
He pressed shift with this Q, guys.
I remember the
It was
shit.
crazy.
Lowe's the only person I know that him as a player could lose a fight, but his team won, and it happened on this point.